The microphone was turned off. Hello and welcome to the SEO Roast. My name is Peter and I'll be your host for today in the same way I've been in the previous couple of times. Today we'll be talking about mistakes that companies make when they start talking with SEO agencies and how to avoid them. If you are joining on LinkedIn or if you're joining on Facebook, it's great to see your comments when they come. And it would also be great to see you liking and subscribing to all those things, but you already know all of that. How this works, usually we'll go through a short presentation that I've prepared, something around 15-20 minutes. I don't know, I usually just ramble more. And then we'll look at two of the websites that have subscribed to the SEO Roasts. If you would still like to have your website roasted, or if you would like to hear what are the things that you can make better on your website, you can just put that into your comments, into the comments of the video. And if you're doing it on YouTube, you have to be careful because YouTube is not going to allow you to paste a domain in there. So it's only going to allow you to type in there the name of the website without the end string, but you'll figure that out. Other things? Nothing. That's it. Let's go and see the bits of the presentations that we have. We still have this one up. And a bit more about myself for those that are here for the first time. My name is Peter and I'm a freelance marketing consultant. I talk to companies that need SEO. I talk to companies that like SEO. I talk to companies that would like to enhance their internal teams to make better SEO. If you're one of them, we can talk. You can find me, and by the way, this slide has Doctor Who on there. Why is that? I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. Doctor Who is the longest running sci-fi series in the world, and there are a couple of points in my studio. This one is new. This one is a Doctor Who time machine, and in the previous roast when I was talking about how much I like Doctor Who, I've shown you this one, my Dalek. And my wife asked me, what is this, why is this Dalek? What is the Doctor Who? And I was like, I didn't really get anything better from Amazon, so I had to buy a Dalek. And she was a bit confused, why would I have the biggest enemy of my hero in the office? So she was very nice to buy me a cookie jar with Doctor Who's time machine. If you would like to get some more free stuff, on SEOS.si, my website, you can find free resources. You'll find two different things there. Number one, I prepared a great UTM tool that will allow you and your company to make better UTMs and then make sure that your UTMs really work. And number two, you can find there a checklist of 47 different ideas of how you can make your email marketing better. Go and check that out. And if you don't have enough of me right now, I do a bi-weekly podcast, timeformarketing.com, where I bring the best marketing conference speakers and make them sum up their their conference presentations in 5 minutes. So you get 5 minutes of pure content and almost nothing else. Go and check it out at the timeformarketing.com. Any other questions that you have, you can just add them into the chat. I'll try to look at both of the chats on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Mazhar, hello and welcome to you too. Nice to see you being here. Now let's go to the presentation. We'll talk about the common mistakes when hiring an SEO agency. I've worked myself in a couple of SEO agencies. I've worked myself on the agency side. I worked myself on the client side, and I've done these mistakes, and I've seen those mistakes being done. So I know what I'm talking about. The first thing that is probably the most problematic, I sort of decided that Simpsons have to be a main point of this presentation. You're a bargaining rock star. I'm generally being a good bargainer So getting people to sell you stuff cheaper than they want to is a great thing. But in SEO, and when talking to SEO or even marketing agencies, this can be a big problem, right? It is great that you got a good price, but having the best price, it does not really help you a lot, because your SEO agency needs to have enough time to work on your project, and having enough time means that you are paying them enough money. If you're just paying them just a couple of hundreds of euros, what you have to do is you have to do the math of how much does an hour of work cost for the agency and how much you're paying. Even if they are not changing you per hour, or even if they're not reporting to you per hour, you can still think about just a ballpark number. Am I paying them to do 5 hours per month? Am I paying them to do 20 hours per month, 50 hours per month, or 500 hours per month, right? The problem is that we like to pay 5 hours, but we want to get out of that 70 hours. And maybe agencies are going to do that for you. Maybe you're so good, you got them to agree. Maybe even they can agree with you that they are going to work 40 hours for you, but you're just gonna pay 10 hours for them, right? Even if they agree on that, you'll have a problem. You want work to get done. So, number one rule, pay them enough money so that they can really work good things, make good things for you. And if you do that, you're gonna get much better results. And one of the things that clients like to do is every year at the end of the year, or maybe at a quarterly or a half year-ish report, they like to go, well, that's a lot of money. Can we decrease or do some of those things less? And what happens is when you work with an agency for 2 or 3 years is that you slowly decrease the money that you are paying them into such low of a number that they, at the end of the day, again, don't do enough SEO for you. Don't be a bargaining rock star. Pay those people enough money that they can do great stuff for you. Number 2, Homer is getting very, very angry. You tell them, I want to double and triple check everything that you do. I want to check all of the, and have control of everything that you do on my website. I want to check all of the backlinks that you do. I want to check all of the content that you prepare. I want to check every single little thing that you do. I want to be there. I want to talk to you. I'll have feedback, and we'll go back and we'll go in circles. It's a great thing that you are involved into your SEO campaign, and this is something that I'll be also talking about. This is also something that I'll be talking about in a later discussion. YouTube is telling me that they can't really hear us. YouTube, not YouTube, that's LinkedIn. Do we have others that can hear well, or is that a common problem for everyone? Do we have anyone on YouTube or LinkedIn that is able to hear whatever I'm doing here? No. Andrea Godec hears me. All right, we're good. And Andrei Persholi on YouTube is also great. All right. Laura Mundas Lacek, it's probably your problem. Thank you, everyone. Where were we? It's good that you're involved into whatever your marketing agency is doing, right? And I'll be talking about one of the errors that people do is not being involved enough into what they are doing. But you hired them to get new ideas. You hired them to do things that you haven't done. And this is why I would like to, thank you, Darian, I would like you to let them do stuff as much as they want to, right? I know it's hard, especially if you're in a big company. I know it's hard if you have a big brand and you have people that are very cautious on the idea that you have to be on brand all the time and everything has to go through you. But the greatest things happen when you allow people to do their work. And if you, that also means that you hired 1, 2, maybe 5 or 10 incredibly creative people. So let them do their work. Of course, you have to check stuff. Of course, you have to be involved, but don't stop them when they are doing what they do the best. If you know the best how to do stuff, don't hire an SEO agency or don't hire an external agency. You can hire someone that is going to do stuff for you. It's going to be even cheaper, but be really sure that you really know what you have to do, right? Number 3, you're being too nice to the agency. The official title of this one was actually "You don't hit them enough," but of course it's not right to hit people or hit anyone. So this is why I'm going back to "You're being too nice to the agency." What that means is I need you to be on top of what they are doing, and you need to be actively involved and in communication with what they are doing. If you're not getting regular meetings with them, with a reporting of what they have done, not only with the results, but also with what work they are doing, you're losing on them, right? What you have to understand is that marketing agencies have a lot of clients, and what you also have to understand is they have a lot of clients, and some of them are more important for them, and some of them are less important for them. And then one of the most important criteria of how you can make yourself important is that you talk to the marketing agency, you talk to the project manager or whoever is your contact in the agency. You don't have to be mean, you don't have to be achieving, you don't have to ask for too much from them. But what you have to do is you have to show them that you are still in the connection. I've been at the agency where clients haven't talked to us for months, or to the project managers. And of course, what happens, of course we do stuff, of course we have workflows when we do stuff, but the ones that make enough pressure or the ones that make more pressure will get better results. This is why you have to be there weekly. You have to talk to them weekly. Just call them, ask them how they're doing, what is with the things that they should be doing. Tell them what you've done, extremely important. You have to actively communicate what you are doing. We'll get to that a bit later. But I always have the problem of how direct should I be with this one, but I feel that as nagging as you are, you're going to get more of that out from the agency, right? So be as nagging as your personality allows you. That can be maybe the advice that we get here. We don't donuts. Donuts. Sorry, I get confused. The next problem is you ignore their reports and ideas. We had clients at the agency we've sent them monthly reports, and those monthly reports also had ideas on what else they should be doing. There was a rule that we have to add 3 or 4 ideas every month to their report. But what happened after we had 20 ideas for them in the report, we just stopped working on that, right? And that was 2 problems that there. Number 1, we didn't stop working. We stopped adding ideas into the reports, right? Number 1, you have 20 ideas of how to make your marketing better, and you're not actively implementing them. And number 2, you don't get new ideas. People don't really engage with the managers, the marketing managers and project managers don't really engage with your project as much, because they know that they have someone on the other side who doesn't really do stuff, and the results are lacking. I had a client for 2 years who didn't have his main keyword on the homepage, and we talked to them for 2 years, trying to get them there. It wasn't really that they didn't want to do that. It was the corporate policy that didn't allow us to go there, right? So, and it's very specific corporate politics that talk about what words can or can't be used on the homepage. But again, you hired someone to do stuff for you, and he told you that you have to add content or maybe change content, do some technical stuff on your website or whatever. Get on top of that. Do all of those things. If you can't, go back to them and tell them, we can't really do that. Can you give me other ideas on how I can do that, right? Or if you can't, you tell them when you'll do that. You can talk to them about which are the things that you are able to do and tell them which are the things, right? It's like everywhere else. If you talk to them, you can find other ideas. If you don't talk to them, you don't find other ideas and stuff just stays there. Budget set in stone is the next common mistake, meaning that you allocate your budget to a certain part of your SEO strategy, or you allocate your budget to a certain part of your marketing strategy, or you allocate your budget to a certain part, to a certain channel that you want them to use. And then talking about that budgets, you are not really prepared to switch those budgets between all of those channels or all of the different strategies. Or on the other hand, you're not really able to talk that you want to increase the budget with what they're doing. Don't believe that the marketing or SEO agency that wants to get more budget out of you does that only because they want to get more budget and spend more. That's not true. And if you have that feeling, you have to change your SEO agency. Because if you have that feeling, what you have to do is, it means that you are lacking, that you don't really believe what they're telling you. And if you don't really believe what they're telling you with the monies, you don't really believe what they're telling you with everything else. This is why it's extremely important that there's a mutual, I just lost the word, the mutual believement, mutual respect, what's the word? Mutual believement of what you should be doing on their side and on your side, right? Of course, they have to tell you what they'll use the budget for, why is it important that you increase the budget, or that you just change the budget. If you've been working on content for a while, then switch that budget to getting backlinks, or switch that budget to optimizing existing paging, or switch that budget to creating a landing page that is going to be a link acquisition landing page, right? All of those things have to change from time to time. Again, you have to be actively involved with what your agency is doing and what you are doing with your website and stuff. It's gonna get better. Next mistake, and if you have mistakes of your own, and if you have horror stories, as we call them, with your agencies, you are very welcome to add them to the chat. Misalignment of metrics and goals. I've just been in the, was that in the Croatian? No, that was actually in the German, one of the German SEO groups. And there was a question asking, well, I've been working great with the company for 2 years now. We increased everything, and then now they've just asked me to stop the SEO campaign. What should I do, right? The answer is, it's probably that they were expecting something else for you, something else that you're going to do, something else for them, right? Huh? The answer is, they were probably expecting more sales. They were probably expecting maybe more stuff on more traffic on the blog. Maybe they were expecting more traffic on the category landing pages. No idea. More leads, more backlinks, more calls from you, right? All of those things can be a metric, and you have to, number one, you have to agree with yourself. You have to set metrics and you have to set goals. Number two, you have to agree about those goals within your team. If you're an agency or a team of 4 or 5 people, all of those people have to understand what the metrics and the goals are so that they can all work together for those metrics and those goals. And number three, the client also has to agree about those metrics and the goals. The worst thing that you can do as a marketing agency is set goals within, but not communicate them with your clients, because you're just throwing away time preparing those goals. And the same goes on the other side. If you as a company prepare goals, maybe that'll be for you personally, or for your department, or just for everyone in there. You have to tell your marketing agency what are your goals. And when you do that, of course, be smart about that. Sales Giga. Next one. focus on everything else but backlinks. I've been doing these SEO roasts for a while now. This one is number 8. That means we've been doing them for 2 years and to 2 months, and we've been doing a lot of roasts. But I've been doing SEO for 25 years, and the number one thing that everyone is lacking when they are doing SEO is backlinks. Why is that? It's just because backlinks are one of those things that people really have a problem on understanding how they should be doing them, right? Backlinks are one of those things. You as clients are usually able to do some technical optimization. You are usually able to do some content optimization, but then it stops. Where should I get other websites so that they will give me backlinks, right? Talk to your agency, and backlinks should be an important part of the things that you are doing. There should be budget allocated for that. There should be people allocated to that. There should be everything allocated to that. And I'm not saying you're going to be buying links left and right. I'm not saying you're not going to be buying links is a bad word in SEO, right? You're not going to invest money into acquiring backlinks, whatever that means. Of course, you have to do that, and you have to have the money for that, and you have to have the people for that, right? And I think this is the last one. We are so special that no one can write our articles. If you're able to do backlinks, then you usually fail at number 2, and the number 2 is usually not preparing enough or any content to add to your website, right? What happens is clients believe that their niche or their company or their products or their angle on the products are so special that they are not able to outsource their content creation. And that means that they go, okay, we'll have our internal people prepare all the content for you. The SEO agency comes and goes, all right, we need 20 articles by the end of the month. And the client delivers 1 or maybe half of an article. Why? Because the internal people are usually pretty busy, because that's what they do at work, right? They have 8 hours of work already set for them, and they don't need another 8 hours of work that we give them creating content. This is why it's extremely important that you have to be fair to yourself and ask yourself, are we really going to be able to prepare that content? And if the answer is yes, that is great. I'm not saying that you can't be preparing content internally. Of course you can. The problem is that you really have to do that, because new landing pages with new content, may that be on the blog, may that be product landing pages, may that be new content on category pages or products, these are usually the best way of how to increase your traffic immensely, right? If you optimize the existing stuff, you can get 20, 30, 50% more people to your website. But if you add new content to the website, you are probably gonna get the 100, 200, 300% increase that we usually like to show in our case studies. But for that, you have to be able to generate a lot of content. And if you have bad experiences with creating content, that just means that you didn't pay enough people to create that content. I'm not saying that you have to pay a lot of money. Of course, content creation costs, but there are also other ways of how you can create content with external teams and have yourself being involved in that, right? You can have your external writer come and talk to your expert within your company, make an interview, but not in an interview as in an interview, but they talk about the topics. The expert gives him the content creator ideas on what to write in there, and then just 20, 30 pointers for every article. The content creator then creates the content because that is her or his job, comes back to the expert, talks to them, and then we have extremely quality articles prepared by someone from the outside, and you can still prepare them en masse. This is very rare that companies think about that, and they should do that more often. You have to understand that people that create content are also very good in figuring out what they should write about, talking to people and getting ideas from them. This is why this is a great idea of how, journalists don't know everything. They make interviews, they talk to people, and then they, out of everything they've heard, create an article. This is how they can also work for you and for your company. You just have to give them resources enough that they can do that. All together now. Number one, bargaining too much. Before we go into the whole list, if you would like to have your web page roasted, if you would like to hear everything that you have to change on your web page, you can put the web page now into the chat. And I'll look at them later. If not, I have other web pages that subscribed earlier, so on the forum, so I'll talk about these ones. But it's usually much better if people that are here can communicate with me and tell me what exactly is happening on their web page. Bargaining too much, pay them enough. Don't be the stop on everything that is happening. Number three, you have to call them every week, ask them how they're doing and how is the project. Number four, don't ignore their reports and suggestions. Number five, budgets that don't move and change. If you have to roll with the punches, do that and change your budgets. Talk about metrics and goals. Focus on everything else but backlinks. You have to create backlinks. This is the number one thing that is going to help you rank better. After, of course, you have the technical and keyword analysis and on-site content done well. And the last one, there are other people that are smart enough that can figure out which and what content should be on your website. If you have questions, you are very welcome. And let's go and roast some websites now. LMI3D.com is a website that is doing B2B industrial solutions. They're selling inline 3D inspections, products, and more than just a sensor industry. They have a very, what is that called? A very classic structure for a B2B web page. The structure going solutions, products, all of the other content that they want to have, support, about them, and contact. And this is very well. The problems are usually somewhere else. Let's go and check out the factory automation. What we can see on the landing page, factory automation, all right, we have the URL and the meta title optimized for that. We also have a title here that talks about the factory. Where's the title? I'm not sure if you saw that, but when I landed on the page on my desktop, as a desktop computer, we saw the title factory automation, but right now we can't see the title factory automation when I move to mobile. This is problem number one. Check what is... Let's take a break here. I'm doing a mistake checking all of the websites on desktop, and you are doing this mistake checking all of the websites on desktop. I know that you spend most of your time at work on your website on a desktop computer, but that's not how real life works. Most of the users on your web page are or will be very soon on mobiles. What you have to do, you have to make sure that your website works great there. And not only that it works, you have to first think about your website on mobile. So that stuff like this, when I land on my iPhone with on the page and don't see the title, telling me where I am, doesn't happen, right? You're using LMI 3D, you're using WordPress and Elementor. This is then, of course, a bit problematic even by itself. Because if I add this one now into the page speed, we're going to be disappointed. I'm pretty sure about that. I'm not saying that Elementor can be done well, but already graphics like these on the top of the pages tell me that you think more about how it looks than how fast it works, right? And that's not how it's supposed to, that is not how it's supposed to be. And the idea that the title of the page has gone away when I went to the mobile, it tells me that you don't have this one, factory automation, marked as heading 1. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong, because I'm never wrong. My wife doesn't agree with that, but your web page has one H1. So we try to mark the most important title on the page as heading 1. Just like every newspaper does, the big, bold things are the most important heading, right? And your most important heading is called search. It's not even shown on the page, right? You do have some other headings, but your most important keywords are not really marked as, I clicked the wrong one. Your most important keywords are not really marked as what they're supposed to be marked as, right? So think about that one and change that. You also have a lot of other headings. It's not that that is going to hurt you a lot, but it doesn't help you anyway either, right? So when you go and change that, this one has to be heading 1. See, I can't really, this is the problem probably with Elementor, because he allows you to do stuff, but it doesn't stop you when you do stuff wrongly. We are still running the, yes. This is, for those of you that don't know that, PageSpeed Insights is a tool where Google tells you how fast your website loads. Your website should be loading in 2 seconds. Your website is loading in 15 seconds. And out of the 100 points that you can get for the performance of your web page, you're getting 18 points. Page speed is not directly correlated with loading time, with search engine positions, but Google openly says that it's going to lower the positions of those web pages who load badly. And getting an 18 out of 100, just ask yourself, would my parents be proud if I would bring a test from the school home with 18 points out of the 100? And I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me that that's not going to happen, right? Your page is loading 15 seconds on mobile. Just imagine that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not showing my desktop. 6, 7. I'm not going to count that up to 15 because it's way too long, right? You have to figure that out. And here, if I go to mobile, I'm not sure you've seen that, it doesn't show the title, right? Otherwise, you have some content on your landing pages. Factory automation sounds to be an important keyword. I have no idea, but it sounds to be. Let's go and check that. Not really. It has only, what country are we in? Oh, we're in Slovenia. We need to go to United Status. All right, 700 searches. This is for B2B, pretty good, right? And of course, you're not ranked anywhere in the for that keyword, of course, because you are missing stuff. I would think that adding more unique content on this landing page would help you rank better. And of course, as said before, backlinks are going to help you rank better. While that happens, let me go and check a product on your web page. Your domain authority is pretty well. It's 60. That's all right. But you only get 3 backlinks to that specific landing page, right? 3 different domains are pointing to you, and all of those are spam websites, are they? No, not really. This one isn't. Malta cryptocurrency licenses.com is of course a spam, right? So you have one real, not even, you don't have any backlinks to that page, right? It's not going to help you. Here, looking at the product, of course, products are not as important in SEO as categories are, but they still should be done right? Your main, Your product name is shown as a picture, and Google has no idea what you tell them in your pictures. This is why it is extremely important that you change that and show your name, your product name in a text and not in a picture. I know it looks better when you do that, but we don't want that. And the same goes here. Also, your headings are problematic because you are marking your main title as heading 3 and not as anything else. Let's check the images. Are your images optimized? Where are your images? You don't really have a very specific image for this landing page, maybe this one. But this one is width and height. No, not really. So the problem is that everything changes when I move from desktop to mobile, and you don't really have a real image for this product on this page. So you should probably add that and optimize that image. I'm looking at the open graph tags for image that would help us describe, that would help us understand what's going on here. And my browser is crashing while I'm looking at your web page. That probably shows you what is the reason for why your web page is really ranking badly, or why your web page has a low mark and the page speed insights. Work on that. You have a lot of code in there that doesn't really belong there. You have to work on something with that. I must say I'm pretty surprised that a company as big and with a website as big as yours is using a page builder to do that. If nothing else, I understand that page builders can be nice. I understand that page builders can be used fastly, but you have to think about how you can optimize the most important landing pages, right? And I would think that I would create, if nothing else, if you have to use page builder like Elementor for your pages, don't do that on your most important pages, right? Just get someone to program these pages separately, and maybe do some blogs and something on the page builder. One last thing that we're going to check: articles. The problem that I just saw is that there was a loading button showing up when I opened the blog. That usually not usually, sometimes the loading button can show us that there's going to be something wrong with the content that we're going to see, that it's not going to really load. I can't really check that because there's so much. My computer needs a break too. By the way, I'm going on holidays tomorrow, so yay! Let's see the articles. You have... The articles are closed behind a login. That's very interesting. Can I register? And of course, everyone watching, if you have ideas on what we can do better with this page, for example, make this form shorter, you can also put that into the comments. All right, so let this be enough for the LMI 3D. The general ideas: stop using Elementor. Make sure you have content. Make sure you have your headings done in a way that Google can read them and check them. And number 4, articles should probably be open for everyone to read, because otherwise no one is going to see them. And you should probably do that. Let me just check the backlinks before I finish, because I like to check the backlinks. And I'll use Screaming Frog to see what you are doing with your all of the backlinks. We already said that you have a lot of backlinks. That's great, but let's check where those backlinks are going to. If the backlinks are going mainly to the homepage, then this is a problem, right? We should have very important pages acquire a lot of backlinks. Element 3D, focal backline, confocal sensors is one of the pages that has a lot of backlinks. That sounds great. There is one, how is that possible? Your page not found page has 40 backlinks. That's just weird. as I presumed, your internal pages don't really get enough backlinks for them to really rank well. You should focus on getting backlinks to the internal pages. You have a lot of them to the homepage, but everything else has a couple of backlinks. So work on that. All right, let's go and check another page. And I usually do 2 pages per row, so I'll do this one, and then we'll slowly wrap it up. Challenger, what is a Challenger? Challenger.net is one place for all sports, simple choice, start your own sports competition effortlessly in minutes. All right, I get the idea of what I can do here. They have a pop-up made with MailChimp, that's all right. They asked me for my something and give me a free tournament poster. I would like to have a free tournament poster. I'll get on that later. What I see that is going to be a problem on this web page is that the landing pages and the keyword research for the landing pages, right? They have solutions, type of competitions, roles, features, and the type of competitions are, for example, league. What is the main keyword for this landing page? How the keyword for this one should probably be fantasy sports league, something like that, and then fantasy sports championship. This is fantasy sports, right? Or maybe not fantasy sports, maybe real sport, but whatever, right? You're never going to rank for the keyword championship, because I have no idea who ranks for the keyword championship. UEFA probably, EFL. What is EFL? Right? These are the biggest websites on the world that are going to rank for the championship. You're not going to do that. You have to find a niche specific keyword that you can rank for, and it's going to be even easier for you to rank it, right? So find that one and put that on all of the landing pages that you have. All of this content is that's a very interesting feature that the images hides when I try to click on it, or when I try to go to the next one, or when I try to look at it. You're going to need more content on those landing pages. Right now you have, this is 150 words, not even that, here. And you're of course going to have to optimize that for SEO. How are your backlinks? You're just at the beginning of acquiring your backlinks. You should do more on your backlinks. Yeah, and I don't really rank for anything anywhere. You rank for 2 keywords in the United States, and those keywords are Bose One Compact Power Stand, it's weird that you're selling that. There's an e-shop on this webpage that I didn't know about. All right. Let's check out the shop. How did I miss the shop? Is the shop somewhere there? Merch, is that it? Yeah, that's the merch. Okay, so we're not going to go into that because that's not really a very important landing page, is it? Or maybe it is because you have a lot of products. Whatever. Again, you have to look for keywords that will be important for this landing page. Add those keywords up here, and that's it. I think that's it for today's SEO roast. If you have any SEO questions, you can put that very shortly into the comments. If nothing else, we're going to finish here. Thank you very much for coming. The next SEO roast is not going to be in 2 weeks as it usually is. The next SEO roast is going to be in 3 weeks because I'm going to be on the beach enjoying everything that is not SEO, marketing, or anything else. That means that we're going to meet not on the 18th, but on the 25th, on the Muttertag, or Mother's Day. And we're going to talk about I haven't decided what we're going to talk about yet, but we're going to talk about something very interesting. You have to go and subscribe to the YouTube. You can add me on LinkedIn if you want to. And if nothing else, just go to seos.si. This is here. And you can subscribe to my email marketing and get everything there. Let me just put that into comments. If you speak Slovenian, I have a Slovenian SEO course that you can buy right now, and it's new out there and it's going to be great. And if you think that someone should roast my webpage because it's the ugliest webpage that has ever lived, I agree, and we're working on that. It's going to be better, maybe already on the next YouTube live. So, if you don't have questions, it was great having you on the SEO roast. Have a great time and enjoy the spring.